Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video of freaking media. I've been wanting to make a video on him for a while now. I cannot stand him. Wow. Yeah. I just, I don't know. I don't know why I put it off. I just wasn't thinking about it with all the chilly stuff going on. But he did put out a new video recently. it's, he's just, nothing he does surprises me. He's sexist, he's misogynistic, he's ignorant, uneducated. Him and his little friend remind me so much of the movie Deliverance. Like, not the guys that are on a trip, but the actual mountain people. Yeah, that's who they remind me of. They remind me of the movie Deliverance. Like, anytime I see freaking Media's face or his friend, I hear the banjo playing. So anyways, hope you enjoy the video.
I'm out here with Michigan Constitutional Crusader. We're out here at Ypsilanti at the police station and the district court. We'll see if we can get inside the district court here. Man, it's so chilly. No, nobody in police services, huh? No. Huh? No.
There should be somebody here.
Oh, there is somebody in Records Bureau, yeah. That's cool. That guy was here the last time.
Oh, yeah, that's the guy that was there.
Yeah, he was here last time.
Cool.
Nobody at the police. That's weird. Noon. We got no receptionist.
Another parking report. Enforcement vehicle.
All right.
Revenue tax.
Yeah.
I honestly can say I don't understand. I don't understand how these frauditors can actually call themselves men. They whine and cry and complain more than a child. A toddler child does. Like, it's just amazing how much they complain and whine and cry, and then they want to call themselves men. Like, real men don't walk around unemployed with a camera purposely harassing members of society just so you can get some kind of reaction and then upload it to YouTube for money. Real men are out working real jobs, or they're retired. And am I the only one? And I know I'm not the only one. I'm just going to say it, though. Every frauditor, as soon as they open their mouth, they sound educationally challenged, to say it the nicest, I guess. Like, slow, not all there, brain functions not quite firing up all the way. I'm grasping at straws at how to say this in the nicest way so that, YouTube doesn't strike my video. They all sound that way. Especially freaking media. Like, the minute he opens his mouth, again, like I said, you think of the movie Deliverance.
Pay to drink, pay to live.
Oh, look, right on the door. No cell phones.
Really?
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think that's, do they even have MCR on here? No.
Look at that right there.
Yeah,
No
that's,
cell phones or electronics in the building.
yeah, that's not so. Cool.
And here we go. The very first thing they see when they walk up to those doors is no cameras or electronic devices. And the first thing they do is whine about it. Let me guess, you're also going to say it's unconstitutional? It's not.
Cool. How you doing, man? What's that? Oh, slow right now. It's still cold.
How's it going?
Or at least it feels cold. Can we go through security and come in the courthouse, walk around?
No. No. But you're welcome to stay in line, but you can't come through security.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you aware of MCR 8.115?
Well, we have rules you can't come through
Well, I know, but I'm MCR, which is Michigan Court Rule, which was passed through legislation through State Bill 865 which grants the Michigan Supreme Court to set forth rules and regulations for the courts. And in MCR 8.115, it says that we can come into the courthouse,
Yes.
which is areas outside of a courtroom, and we can record. We just can't live stream, broadcast, or record individuals, which is private citizens, without their prior express consent. But we can come through the security, and anything that's publicly accessible within the courthouse outside of a courtroom, we're allowed to record, live stream, or broadcast, as long as we're not recording individuals.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
I'm 100.
Yeah.
And I know some courts still haven't quite come to par, because it just passed 2 years ago.
Okay.
So a lot of courthouses are still coming up to par with what it says we're lawfully allowed to do within a courthouse. And of course, in a courtroom, the judge has absolute control. But in the courthouse,
So here is that thing that freaking media is talking about. It gives you, like in the courtroom, no one may use portable electronic device to take photographs or audio or video. But then it also states outside a courtroom, in areas of the courthouse, other than courtrooms, no one may photograph, record, broadcast, or live stream an individual without that individual's prior express consent. I mean, it's just it's clear as day right there. So, yeah, you cannot record any individual, including the security guard, without their consent. Then you also have a judge may terminate, suspend, limit, or exclude film or electronic media coverage at any time upon a finding made and articulated on record in the exercise of discretion that the fair administration of the justice requires such action, or the rules established under this order or additional rules imposed by the judge have been violated. It states right here, film or electronic media coverage shall be allowed upon request in all court proceedings except for good cause as determined under MCR 8.116. Requests by representatives of media agencies for such coverage must be made in writing to the clerk of the particular court not less than 3 business days before the proceeding is scheduled to begin. A judge has the discretion to honor a request that does not comply with the requirements of this subsection. The court shall provide that the parties be notified of a request for film or electronic media coverage. Now, that is, of course, in the courtroom. However, it also states that use of portable electronic devices in a courthouse. Okay, and I'm doing this for a reason. I'm showing the rules for the courtroom and the rules for the courthouse. Yes, sometimes the rules for the courtroom are different than the actual entire building, but not in this case. It would seem that even in the courthouse in Michigan, any courthouse in Michigan, the same rules apply as in the courtroom. In order to record or take photographs or audio, you have to have permission. I don't know how that's so hard for people to understand. I get why it's hard for freaking media to understand it because he's not working with a full deck, but it's pretty simple, honestly. Use of portable electronic devices in a courthouse. This rule specifies the permitted and prohibited uses of portable electronic devices in a courthouse. A court must use reasonable means to advise courthouse visitors of the provisions of this rule. That's why they have a big old sign on the front door, no cameras, no phones. Any allowed use of portable electronic device under this rule is subject to the authority of a judge to terminate activity that is disruptive or distracting to a court proceeding, or that is otherwise contrary to the administration of justice. This rule does not modify or supersede the guidelines for media coverage of court proceedings set forth in AO number 1989-1. Basically, even if you're getting loud and throwing massive tantrums or arguing back and forth loudly, you can be told to leave and trespass from the courthouse, which, as we know, freaking media has a hard time grasping that concept that getting loud and argumentative and stuff like that and throwing insults and stuff, that's not good courthouse etiquette. Which brings me to this. Portable electronic device is a mobile device capable of electronically storing, accessing, or transmitting information. The term encompasses, among other things, a transportable computer of any size, including a tablet, a notebook, and a laptop, a smartphone, a cell phone, or other wireless phone, a camera and an audio or video recording device, a personal digital assistant, other devices that provide internet access, and any similar items. A courthouse includes all areas within the exterior walls of a court building, or if the court does not occupy the entire building, that portion of the building used for administration and operation of the court. A courthouse also includes areas outside a court building where a judge conducts an event concerning a court case. A courtroom includes the portion of a courthouse in which the actual proceedings take place. Photography and audio or video recording, broadcasting, or live streaming, except for requests to film or electronic media of court's proceedings as permitted under AO. Basically, the bottom line is taking photographs or video audio recordings by any device is not allowed except for members of the media who have the prior permission of the court. That means within the courthouse and the courtroom. It also says, and I'm going to make this clear, because most of these frauditors, they go into these courthouses and they run their mouths, they get loud, they're argumentative, they throw fits, they throw tantrums, they cry, they whine, they complain. This is courthouse etiquette. Visitors must conduct themselves in a manner that recognizes and protects the dignity of the proceedings. Be as quiet as possible throughout the building. Because court employees work in offices adjacent to the public halls and common areas, any conduct that interferes with the decorum or operation of the court or the work of its employees is prohibited and could result in your removal from the building. Visitors are not allowed to touch the portraits, pictures, busts, or any other artifacts on display in the courthouse building. This right here, okay, they're always like, you can't trespass me from public buildings, blah, 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 blah. Okay, guess what? If you are disruptive in any manner, raise your voice, just cause any employee, including the security, and disruption of their work, guess what? You can be told to leave. And when you don't, you're trespassing. Plain and simple, right there.
See what their stance is and see if they've come up to par, and because we're going to end up eventually having to file motions for statutory control to force the court administrators and the court clerks to allow public photography within the public areas of courthouse. It's a publicly owned building funded by the taxpayers. So First Amendment, right to a free press, right to free speech allows for us to record in public spaces.
Right.
Of course, it's a limited public forum. Mm-hmm. So, protests aren't allowed, and speech that is
really
disruptive to court proceedings and such wouldn't be allowed, you know what I mean? But, our First Amendment isn't completely and totally wiped out just because it's a limited public forum. If it was a non-public...
Wrong, Spanky Pants Steve Jones, freaking media, whatever you want to be called. Courtrooms and the courthouse lobbies are non-public forums. You can sit there all day and say that they're limited public forums. They're not. They're non-public forums. This was from a blog by an actual constitutional law scholar, not named Chili. And it states that the U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeals of recognizing a right to film government officials engaged in public duties. However, we noted that neither the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals nor the U.S. Supreme Court has recognized this right. Even if we suppose that filming public officials engaged in carrying out their duties is a clearly established First Amendment right, local governments may still impose some restrictions on that activity, just as they are able to do with other forms of protected speech. In the words of the Supreme Court, nothing in the Constitution requires the government to to grant access to all who wish to exercise their right to free speech on every type of government property. I'm going to see this again. In the words of the Supreme Court, nothing in the Constitution requires the government freely to grant access to all who wish to exercise their right to free speech on every type of government property without regard to the nature of the property or to the disruption that might be caused by the speaker's activities. And we all know frauditors are only there to spark a disruption. Without a disruption, they're not going to get the amount of views on their video, and they're not going to make much money off of it. So, of course, that is all they do. The Supreme Court has recognized that the government, no less than a private owner of property, has power to preserve the property under its control for the use to which it is lawfully dedicated. Courts conduct a three-step analysis when the government restricts speech on public property. First, a court must decide whether the activity at issue is speech protected by the First Amendment. Second, a court must identify the nature of the forum where the speech is being restricted. Third, a court must assess whether the government's restrictions satisfy the standard of judicial review associated with that forum. Courts use different tests to analyze government limitations on First Amendment activities depending on the nature of the space or the forum that the government is attempting to regulate. Now, Steve Jones sits here and claims that the courthouse is a limited forum. He is wrong. It is a non-public forum. A limited public forum exists where a government has intentionally reserved a forum only for certain groups or for the discussion of certain topics. In other words, the government has opened a forum for expressive activity, but it has established initial restrictions on access to that forum based on subject matter and or the speaker. Examples of spaces found by courts to be limited public forums include public school facilities during and after school hours and the interior of a city hall. In such a forum, a government entity may impose restrictions on expressive activity so long as the restrictions are viewpoint neutral and reasonable in light of the purpose served by the forum. Once a government entity opens a limited public forum to certain speakers or topics, it must respect the lawful boundaries it has set itself. However, the government is not obligated to create a limited public forum or to keep it open to expressive activity indefinitely. Courthouses are non-public forums, not limited public forums.
Slow motion today, huh?
Yeah, this is going on today, so.
Well, that's good. That's good. It means people around here are staying out of trouble, right?
Well, at least today. Yeah.
At least. All right, guys. Have a good one. Oh, yeah. There's some tall stairs. Hoo-wee. Oh, public pretender. It's open. No, it ain't.
What's that?
Oh, see anybody over there? Oh, yeah, there's somebody right there.
Is there one?
Yeah, in the far right corner. Come all the way back here.
Oops.
Far right corner.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
See him back here now?
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah. Those stairs were exhausting.
I know, those are some long stairs.
Yeah, they are.
I think he's trying to tell us something, but we can't hear
Somebody
him.
peeking around the other corner.
There's a guy in the other office.
Yeah, I seen him. Nothing over.
This guy is just simply disgusting. He's disgusting in the way he treats women. He's disgusting in the way he speaks. and he's just a disgusting human being. So that was basically the end of the video. The rest of the video, it was like almost 10 minutes long of them just walking around and heavy breathing. And then they looked into some windows, but they got no reaction out of it. You know, it's just two grown-ass men walking around, jobless losers, with nothing better to do than act like toddlers with cameras, trying to get a reaction out of whoever they can. Because I don't care how many times he says, I don't do this to get a reaction. That is exactly why he does it. He does it because he knows if he doesn't get a reaction, people are going to find his videos boring, just like this one. The only reason why I covered it was because he has zero education and he doesn't know the difference between a public forum and a limited public forum and a non-public forum. So, you know, a little bit of free education goes a long way. Like I've said, your greatest weapon in life is education. And when you don't have that, you don't have much at all. And these two, Deliverance, they don't have much at all. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Be safe. I love each and every one of you.